Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome to Ask Thomas Frank with the man himself. Thomas, basically I asked social media to send in a bunch of questions about you, anything that they want to know, and there was thousands of questions. So I picked out the best ones. You ready to answer them?
I hope so.
All right, cool. Let's start off with the first one. Describe a typical day in the life of Thomas Frank.
So I guess I need to pick a day where I go to work, right? Not the day off. Let's say a Thursday we're training. My alarm will go off 6:30. Then I'll be out of the door 10 minutes later, being at the training ground around 7. Then I have an hour for myself before the hell break loose, where I do a little bit of planning, watch a little bit of video of opponent or training. And then players are coming in 9:15, meeting with the players 9:45, training 10:45, lunch, then a lot of preparation in the afternoon for either looking back at the training, a few talks with players, coaching meeting, probably analysis meeting, and then I normally leave around 5:30 depending. And then go home, walk the dog with my wife, and relax a little bit. If I'm not watching a football match.
Do you have a program that you tune into on a day-to-day?
I try to be better at sometimes to watch Netflix series or whatever, just to fill my head with something else than football.
Anything in particular?
In Birmingham, Tom Shelby.
Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders, yeah, very good.
I still need to watch that.
Yeah, that's very good. Very
Really?
good. Yeah, I liked it. I must say.
Okay, nice one. All right, cool. The second one, this question was sent in quite a lot actually. What hair products do you use to keep your hair so glossy? This was sent in a lot.
But I'm so bad with this. So I use some normal shampoo. I probably should use some conditioner. I don't think I do really. So it's just natural. And then I do use some wax. What is it called? It's the same I buy every single time, so I've done for years that try to make it look okay.
Fair enough, because I think that some people are trying to get some tips to get how you get on match days. Okay, next question. This was one that was actually sent in a lot as well. Why are you always chewing gum during matches?
Bad habit.
Okay.
Basically bad habit. I was thinking about should I stop it, but also there is, of course, tension and stress and everything, and I just got into doing it, and it works okay. Then sometimes I think, should I not do it? But then I maybe miss it a little bit, so just a bad habit.
Fair enough. The next question, this was actually more football related. What's needed to turn a championship side into a Premier League side?
Good players. I'm privileged to have good players. I think that's a big thing. You always want a specific style to play. I prefer to dominate games and be aggressive, press high, play energetic game. Obvious that we dominated more in Championship. We were the 2 full seasons we were there, and we scored the most goals. We were one of the teams with the most possession, whatever passes, all that, very, very dominant. But I knew we, of course, obvious reason, we can't do that in the Prem. So we adjusted a bit, especially the first season, to make sure that we defended very well. I think that was very important for me. We need to be very fit, need to match all the other teams' intensity, if not overmatch, and we need to be good on set pieces. That was the foundation. And then season 2, we tried to add extra layers and try on dominating more in phase 2. And now we want to do it even more. And then we just got a little setback because of injuries, but we still try to do the same.
Would you say that was your hardest challenge today as a manager, adjusting to that shift of going from the Championship to the Premier League?
No, I think the hardest challenge was to get promoted, by far. The change was, how can you say, just a decision, which could be difficult enough because maybe you want to dominate more, but you also need to look into what you're facing. And then, of course, to execute it is every day you try to do it.
Okay. Next question. Who is the best signing you have made in your career?
In my career? Oh, I think the biggest at the time was Eriksen, obviously.
Okay.
For me, the best player all time that played for Brentford. But I think for one single player's impact, it must be Ivan Toney. Okay. We signed him from League One, 1 year, scored 33 goals, we got promoted, scored, I can't remember, double figures in the first season and 20 in the second. So that must be the biggest, yeah.
Do you set him targets now because of the goal scoring that he's had in previous years of how many he should score this season, for example?
No, never set targets with him on that. I'll work on principles, I'll work on the other side of the game with him, but never targets.
Okay, this one's quite similar. Who's the most technically gifted player you have coached in your career?
I think that must be Christian Eriksen. It could actually also be Andreas Christensen. I had him in the youth national team. But Eriksen was unique. 16 years old, I played him in the under-17 national team. I remember, of course he was good, so I remember he just a little bit on the half term, poof, Dijk, right foot. I said, okay, that's a decent player, this player here. Then 5 minutes later, half term, left foot, poof, left foot on a string, both feet. Unbelievable technique.
If you could go to dinner with 3 managers, past and present, who are you taking and why? That's difficult.
Oh, that's a tough one.
A lot of managers.
Yeah, Klopp, Guardiola, and Sir Alex.
Ooh,
those would be the 3.
That's a good lineup.
I would Bielsa. He must be the wild card, really. But I don't speak Spanish and he doesn't speak English, so I think he's falling on that. Or that's me, not being educated enough. My wife speaks Spanish, but not me, not yet.
Fair enough. What would you try and get from that dinner?
Now, I know we'll just speak a lot about football. Culture, football, everything, life, and probably also, could I imagine, still laugh a bit.
Is that something that managers do often, to try and link up maybe after games and go for dinner, depending on the result maybe?
I just think, I think it's a very nice idea. I think it'd be a good idea to do it more often because but our schedule is just so busy, so difficult in many ways.
Which Premier League manager do you admire the most and why?
So classic to say Guardiola and Pep for what they have achieved, and both of them are extremely good, and then what they've done. Because now I don't look as much as them, if that makes sense. It was more what they did in the past. Yeah. They're still developing, still doing things, and still. But for example, a manager like Sean Dyche, I think you've done fantastic in Burnley and now in Everton, and I've met him a few times. I think Moyes. I think he's been there for so long, done so many things, achieved so, tried everything. Also in a way just different. First Everton, and then Man United, and then Spain, and then coming back. I think that's a fantastic career in many ways. And of course Roy Hodgson. There's so many who's done fantastic things.
The managers you mentioned, a lot of them have been at clubs for a long period of time, and you're currently the 4th longest serving manager in the top 4 divisions in England. Did you ever imagine yourself staying at Brentford for so long?
No, the answer is no. When I signed the first contract to come, it was as an assistant manager, and I remember we wanted the challenge and the adventure. My wife and I and the family, so we knew we wanted at least a year here to try to live here, to see the 3 children in school. But then after a year, I think I clearly remember that I walked with my wife and think, I can see her stay here for 5 years, I said, in total. Now we are going into the 8th year, so that's a long time.
It is a very long time. Do you put a time frame on how much longer you're going to stay at Brentford, or is it more as see how the seasons go? No time frame. I've learned that in football you can't plan anything. I can say that I really enjoy my life here. I'm in a good place. I'm working with very good players and very good people, and very good staff members, very good people. Not at least fantastic owner in Matthew and Phil Giles, the sports director, and Lee Dykes as well. So. I think a lot of these questions came in because of obviously the news about Jurgen Klopp and how long he was at Liverpool. How did you take that news?
That was a little bit surprising, I would say. I know he just signed a new contract. I always said, I'm looking at this manager thinking, how can they keep going in those jobs with the pressure and the focus and all that? How can they keep going? And that is tough. You know that they're getting tired. You know you lose energy. Same with me, it's a tough job. And the most important thing we can do for ourselves is to protect ourselves and protect our energy, which is difficult. So it was a surprise maybe now, but not a surprise, if that makes sense.
How do you feel when you see your name linked with roles like that? Because obviously you're a top manager in the Premier League and your name's always going to be thrown into the bucket of managers that could potentially take charge. How does that make you feel when you see that?
There's a lot of rumours out there. I think we all have a kind of an ego, and the ego likes that little sugar. Oh, you're linked with that, oh nice. But in the end of the day, it's I'm at Brentford, very happy here. Do I have ambitions? Yes. Do I going to stay at Brentford forever? Maybe, probably not. So who knows what's happening in the future. What I know is that I'm here in Brentford and I'm very happy with it.
Last question, have you ever considered going into international management?
Maybe. I will probably not do it now. I learned in football you can't say 100% no, 100% yes, because that's it doesn't work like that. But I could see myself in that role in the future, potentially. But it's not that that's something I want to try. But I'll definitely not close it down.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining me, Thomas. I appreciate that.
Pleasure. Good questions.
Thank you.
Not
Thank
for you.
No, you answered them perfectly as well, so I appreciate that.
Thank you. It was easy. Thank you so much.